guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Tuesday, guys. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well this season. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Tuesday, guys. So let's jump in. I want to speak to you guys about a few things. I want to speak to you guys in regards to faith without works. Please, please. A lot of people will never see blessings because they assume they can just pray and that's it. I want to talk about that. Also want to speak in regards to one of you guys asked me if I saw Pastor R.C. Blake video. It was on the New Home channel this past Sunday in regards to forgiveness. You had a hard time tapping in. You know, I've been honest about forgiveness not being my strong point, if you will. So you wanted to know if I tap into it and what did I feel. Honey, listen, I thought it was the only one. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought it was the only one. It's not that I couldn't tap into it. Never mind. We'll talk about that. Also, the importance of recognizing that you and your refusal of some things could potentially be holding up your blessing. All right, let's start really quickly with that. A lot of the times, again, just because God wants to bless us with things or bring things into our lives, it doesn't mean we're going to always be able to achieve those things. And a lot of the times it's our own actions, things that we're doing or things that we're not willing to do that literally is holding up our own blessings. So a lot of the times when you're waiting, but you have something that's blocking it, something that God has already told you to move, then it's going to be hard for those blessings to find you, right? There has been a couple of things in the last, month or so that has been just beautiful blessings that have literally entered my life. But I know without a doubt that if I had not been obedient to remove some things, those things would not be here today. So you know when God is asking or requiring you to remove certain people, places, or things. What I realized was going on, definitely in my personal life, it's like the things that I picked up along the way of this last season. These are things that He is literally removing and bringing in the things that are related to destiny, if that makes sense. So the things that we picked up for whatever reason, it could have been fun. It could have been something leisure. It could have been, so it's not that it was a bad thing per se. It's just not a destiny thing. So He's removing these things and then He's bringing in people, right? Places and things that are related to your destiny and even their destiny. All right, so next, let's talk about faith without works. Okay, here's the thing. Religion have taught a lot of people that just pray. Please pray. Please. If you don't do anything else, please pray. Right? Pray, fast, do all that stuff. But there are going to be times, a lot of the times, where even if God has promised you a blessing, you are going to have to put some work in. Faith without works is dead. We just can't pray and just stay there. Now, granted, there are seasons now where you are to do absolutely nothing, but you will know, right? There are seasons when we are to be still, and those are the times that we're moving. We're getting ahead of God. God's telling us to be still, but we're getting and jumping ahead of God like rabbits, right? And then there's other seasons where God is convicting you because He needs you to do something. It's some kind of instruction, right? It's some kind of instruction that He needs you to do, and that's going to be part of your works. Like there are things in my life that I can think over that even though the blessing was from God, it was a knockdown, drag out fight. Not in a sense of like in a negative way or like a toxic way, but you're going to have to fight. You're going to have to get your strength up, right? And fight doesn't look like you're going and you're physically fighting a person. It's more so less about things are going to come against it, because anything that God has for you is going to be attack, right? It's going to be attack. I don't care what it is. If God has it for you, it's going to be attack. You may even encounter some delays, right? That doesn't mean denial. You may even encounter some delays, but that looks like, well, I'll speak for myself. That looks like strategic moves. Strategic moves, meaning a door shut this way. I don't care how tired you are. I don't care how disappointed you are, right? I'm going to give you a strategic move. I need you to fast right now. I need you to cut off all distractions right now, because I need you to really tap in, right? Don't feel defeated, right? You can feel frustrated, or you can feel whatever it is you want to feel, right? I just need you to tap back in, because if I said it, it's yours. I don't care what it looks like in the flesh. In the flesh, it will look like you're defeated. There's just no way. There's just no way this thing is going to happen. No. Tap in. I'm going to give you a strategic way, and that strategic way is going to require you to do this, move this, go there, say this, don't say that, right? It is very specific, if you will. Very, very specific and strategic. So, and another example can look like, there is nothing in the physical fleshly realm that will make sense on how this door would even open. I mean, there's nothing. Legally, there's no way. Like, there's just no way possible. But what he'll do is, he will literally instruct you and guide you to a specific place, a specific person. That person, he already gave some kind of download to. He connected it. He already connected it. So when the person sees you, the person already heard from God about you. So they know their job is to help you, because God already placed that thing on their heart. So now in the physical realm is like, how? That's impossible. How do you? Because God is strategic and God is supernatural. So please pray, please fast, please stand, be still, surrender, all that stuff, right? You have to know what season you're in. This just came up. A lot of the times too, it can be tricky, and the enemy will clip people up right here. Sometimes after a season of delay, stillness, or dry seasons or whatever, those seasons where you almost like you feel like you lost hope, and you got to the point where you just really just like, you just kind of gave up, if you're honest. So what happened is, when that season shift, and now it's open door season, which is a lot of people's seasons right now, that restoration season of blessings, like meaning you were already on hold this last season. You probably took some downfalls. You just surrendered completely. So you feel like you don't even know how to put your hand back in stuff, right? Which you don't need to do that anyway, but meaning, I'm talking more about works, if you will. So once God comes back to you and say, all right, the barrier is now up, it's go time, which it is for a lot of people. The barrier is up. It's go time. What can happen if you're not careful? The enemy done beat you up so bad in last season that it's like you're almost afraid to take a step, even though God is calling you to take some kind of action step now, some type of works now. But you feel so defeated and beat up from the last season, feeling like, well, I'm just not going to do anything because nothing just works anymore. I thought I heard God the first time. I did it. Nothing happened. Please be careful right there. I always say, personally, I would rather make the move if I truly, truly believe I heard from God, rather than not make it. That's just me. And I'm not speaking about getting ahead of God. I'm really talking about when you really, really feel you truly have heard from God. I would rather make the move than not. Because what I've experienced, me personally, is if I make that move and if I'm off, he always reels me back in like a fish on a fishing rod, honey. He reels me back in. He don't let you get too far off course. right? It may even cause a little bit of delay, some frustration, maybe even a little disappointment, whatever. But he don't let you get too far out where you miss like a whole season, right? That would be your bad because maybe you're being disobedient to what he's doing, or you're fighting against the current while he's reeling you back in or attempt to reel you back in. Then that's on you. But if he reels you back in because you thought you heard from him, he will reel you back in, and then he'll get you back on the right path. He'll always get you back on the right path. So faith without works is dead. Forgiveness. Listen, sis, when you emailed me, you made me feel so good because I thought I was the only one who struggled. And like, I'm like, that's probably and let me be clear, I didn't disagree with him. Oh, I tapped in. It just, I ain't really wanted to like tap in like that. Like, I mean, I wanted to, but I just, listen. So basically, if you guys didn't hear the video, in so many words, he was speaking about Judas in, the betrayal process, the forgiveness process, things like that. And truth of the matter is this, he actually did say, because when you email me, you were saying that I always say forgiveness doesn't always equate to reconciliation, meaning that doesn't mean that the person belongs back into your life. Just because you forgive them, meaning you can forgive, release, I'll see you when Jesus come home. That's my thing. So he actually did, because I rewatched it again when you sent it. He didn't say that the person has to be back in your life. He actually said that you need to be wise enough, right, to know a snake is a snake and distance them. The thing that I had a hard time with is when he was saying that the person is back in your life, but they're just not, they don't have the same level of access to you. To me, how I receive it, and I could have been wrong, I received it as they could have had a top-notch level in your life, but really now they're just demoted. See, I'm not that chick. I'm just going to be real, and I'm sure God has some more work to do on me. You too, so don't judge me. Not you, sis, but whoever want to judge me, because I'm saying God needs to still work on me in this forgiveness process. Right. Tell me your area that you don't have a struggle in, right? So I'm the person, and let me also say this now. I've said this a lot too. It depends on the level of betrayal, because some things can be like really petty stuff. Like somebody told a lie because they're going to get in trouble because they're running late for work, and they lied to say they're around the corner, and it really wasn't, like they just left home. Like, and that's not even betrayal, but those are lies. But like, and I'm only giving an example of how something can be petty versus somebody who stole, somebody who cheated, somebody who did something grimy behind. So it just depends on the level of betrayal. But he was speaking about a heavy level of betrayal when he was giving an example of a friend or someone he knew who had went through a massive betrayal. Honey, I'm just going to be honest. You will never, ever, all caps, ever be back in my life, in my personal space, if you've betrayed me. I'm just going to keep it real. Only Jesus can send me back. And honey, he's going to have to come knock on the door and drag me out my house into this person's face. I'm just going to be transparent and honest, right? I have some areas that I'm very, very strong in, and I have some areas that are not my areas of strength. And again, that's forgiveness after betrayal. That is patience, even though I'm a lot better. And that is, I'm very sensitive, right? Many of you are too. You're chosen one, you're spiritually sensitive. So I get hurt very easily in times too. And maybe that's why. Maybe that is why. Well, that's part of it. That's why, because it's like, listen, Like, I kept it a buck with you, right? I was thorough. So you didn't return. Guys, my dog is done finding something making all this noise. I'm sorry. The bubble wrap, actually. That, but also, more than anything, one second, guys. Thank you, sir. More than anything is because why would I jeopardize that type of, why would I can't jeopardize it a second time. Because when we hurt too much. So I can't go through that type of pain a second time, right? I feel like the first time, that's on you. The second time, that's on me. I got to take my own accountability that I allowed you back into my life to burn me a second time. So I feel like even if I demote you, I feel like I got to still be side-eyeing you. I don't roll like that. I can't have that level of stuff disturbing my spirit. If you're going to be around me, I got to be able to trust you. I got to be able to be at ease. I got to be able to be at peace without having to look over my shoulder and see, well, are you going to try to betray me again this time? You said that, okay, you said that you were sorry, right? You apologized, but those are just words. Those are just words. How do I know that your actions now align with those words? And I think he did say in regards to the person has fully repent. And I guess maybe their actions are aligned with, honey, I ain't got time. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to be honest. Sis, I think that was probably the first video ever that I was just like, Lord, I hear you and I don't disagree, if you will. I think it's just more about me just not being there yet. I give you one time to betray me on a certain kind of level. Again, I'm not speaking petty levels because people are people. We're all human, right? We all, I'm speaking betrayal. I will start my process of forgiving and releasing. Releasing means I don't hate you. Releasing means I no longer want to bust your head to the white meat. Forgive me, Lord. Forgiving means I leave you in God's hand. I wish no ill will. I leave you in God's hand, but you will have zero access to my life. Again, I'm wise enough to know if God ever comes back and convict me, say, hey, I need you to do this. I need you to help them. Now hear me. That's God. And honey, I got to hear like 35,000 confirmations. I got to hear like 35,000 confirmations. Well, no, I'm lying right there. I'm lying right there. That's not true. If I know I've heard from God, and even though I don't want to do it, and I've had to do that twice. Three times. I had to literally go and, no, two times. I had to go. I had to go and bless two people who, But when I tell you, the doors that open because of that obedience, but the difference was they were not to come back into my life per se, right? You know what? I just received that. I believe the reason why he had me to do that, at least with one of them, was to help them release whatever regret. Sometimes people can have like that very, very heavy spirit of regret when they messed up on you or they betray you or whatever. So I think the intentional seed was more so less about helping that person release the feeling or the idea that they thought I hated them. The chosen one, we can't hate people. I hate nobody. I can dislike you. I can never want to see you again, but I don't hate you. Right? So my thoughts on that, sis, is I actually agree with you. But again, I for sure, he never said that the person have to have the same level of access to you. I kind of see it as more of them being from a certain level and drop down a few notches. I'm just not there yet. You got to leave my life completely. You got to leave my life completely. I just can't. My heart is not. I'm too sensitive. My heart is not set up in a way where I can allow somebody to hurt me twice. Right. The first time was already enough. You show me who you are. That's who you are. That's your character. In order for me to even have a conversation about even considering lunch, is lunch, not at my house, lunch somewhere off. That is I would have to know. Like, I would have to see the actions. I would have to see the fruit on your life and how God have truly turned your life completely around. And you're in alignment now. And you're not moving from that shiesty mindset. Then I can consider you being in my personal space for lunch or a meeting of the minds in that sense. But we would have to be complete idiots to forgive a person, allow them back into our lives. And this person is the same exact person with the same character that they had when they betrayed you. So that makes no logical sense to me. You betrayed me. You lied. You stole. You cheated. You whatever. 3 months later, you say the words, "I'm sorry." But you're still the same person. Because it takes a while for somebody to really change and really, level up. And so I'm supposed to fully forgive you, give you access back into my life, even though your character is so shiesty. Find somebody else to do it. Find somebody else to do it. I ain't got time. Your girl ain't got time. Your girl ain't got time. It's too much purpose on my life for me to keep taking hits. I can't keep taking hits. Hits literally, like, especially one that drops you, it takes a while to recover from that stuff. So you're taking hits after hits after hits. Like, how are you even being, like, no, we got to be in a certain posture of alignment to be used. Like, I'm being used so heavily right now in a couple of different areas. And I know without a doubt that if I allowed someone a second chance, right? Third, fourth, fifth chance to keep betraying me and I can't be used like that. I'm too broken. My spirit is all over the place. I'm sitting here thinking about the betrayal, thinking about how I missed this. Why was I such a fool that I didn't see this or I ignored God? I ain't got time. I ain't got time for that, man. I just don't have time for it. Right? I'm going to release you. I'm going to ask God for strength with this process of forgiveness. Then I'm going to release you in the spiritual realm, meaning that's between you and God. You got to see God about me because he don't play about me. And prayerfully, whatever you have to go through, whenever you go through, because it's not always immediate, my friends, stop looking for immediate ways for God to deal with your enemies. Sometimes it may take years. But when it happens, they will always remember what they did to you. So I'm going to release you to God. I'm going to move on with my life. You will have zero access to my life. God would have to do some kind of... Y'all, don't judge me. Just pray for your girl. I got to go. You guys have a great one. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.